Newly elected Republican member of Congress, Nancy Mace, you were just sworn in on Sunday. Look, congratulations on your election and in your new job. I'm very sorry this has been what your first week is like. How do you explain what happened in the Capitol yesterday?
You can't explain what happened yesterday. It was a sad day for our nation. I was shocked. I was heartbroken, and I was pissed off and angry by seeing this violent mob. This wasn't protest. This was anarchy last night. And this weekend, I got sworn in on Sunday. I swore an oath to the Constitution. I brought my two children. I'm a single mom. I'm the first Republican woman elected to Congress from South Carolina. But the rhetoric that I was seeing online on social media, I was worried about the outcome of the rally on Wednesday. I sent my children home on the first flight Monday morning because I was so concerned about it. This is un-American and it's wrong. And I woke up this morning being criticized for voting to certify a legally certified election in all 50 states for certifying the Electoral College. This needs to stop. Enough is enough.
You say you were concerned by the rhetoric. The rhetoric from whom? Whose rhetoric caused you to send your kids home?
From the president on down to my colleagues here in Congress, that when you speak like that, when you incite this kind of violence, rhetoric has real consequences. Someone threatened to shoot me recently on social media. I was accosted on a street of DC on Tuesday night. Here, it's wrong. It puts people's lives at risk.
So was it 6 or 7 U.S. senators, more than 100 members of the House, still voted to overturn the election after the attempted insurrection here? What's your message to those people?
I'm disappointed right now. I think that after last night, and I'm on my 100th hour of being a member of Congress, I'm working on about 2 hours of sleep. I'm distraught. We've got to rebuild our nation, and we've got to rebuild our party. This is not who we are. It's extremely distressing, and it's saddening. It's heartbreaking.
What does this do? I mean, you were supportive of President Trump during your campaign. I mean, you're a Republican. What does this do you think, to his legacy?
Everything that he's worked for, and I'm a fiscal conservative. I appreciated the lower tax rates that we had, the economic growth, Operation Warp Speed during the pandemic. All of these were great for our country, but all of that, his entire legacy was wiped out yesterday. And we've got to start over. We don't have the ground that we need to push forward and do the things that we need to do to be successful and work for and be the voice for hardworking Americans that believed in his message. We cannot condone the violence. My colleagues need to continue to condone it. We need to have leadership right now more than ever in this country. Got to rebuild our nation and rebuild our party.
How much responsibility and culpability do Republicans who've been in Congress, and you haven't, over the last 4 years? Because a lot of what the president said the last few weeks isn't any different than what he said over the last 4 years. So what responsibility do people have for creating this permission structure for this?
They should be taking 100% responsibility for this. They've enabled this. And I was shocked as anybody that the words turned to action yesterday. The videos that I was being sent from constituents who came up here thinking they were peacefully protesting. And then when things went bad, iPhones went up, and seeing some of the videos where someone's shouting, send your women home and go get your guns. This is un-American. A pipe bomb, multiple pipe bombs allegedly dropped off at the headquarters of the Republican Party. This is third world country stuff, and it needs to stop.
So you were so concerned by what the president was saying earlier this week that you sent your children home. And again, I'm sorry you had to do that. I know you wanted them there with you all week, your first week of Congress. How great would it have been for them to do remote learning from your congressional office?
Right. They're at COVID-19. They're unable to go to school. They do virtual learning. And I thought, how neat would that be to roam the halls of Congress, to do your virtual classes, be part of history. And instead, I put them on the first flight home Monday morning because I was worried. And my fears came true yesterday.
So I guess my question is, if it's not safe enough for your kids to be with you on Capitol Hill because of what the president has been saying, why is it safe enough for America for the next 13 days to have him in the Oval Office? How serious do you think the discussions need to be about the 25th Amendment this morning?
Well, yesterday I was urging the president to get off Twitter and to get on television to urge calm and peace for our nation. Somebody needs to do it. And that's where I am today. I'm 100 hours into being a member of Congress. I've slept for 2 hours last night. I am distraught. I'm trying to urge my colleagues to extend that leadership, stop this rhetoric, stop objecting to and using the language of the rigged election. Now is not the time to be talking about that. the weeks leading up to this have led to this violence, and it needs to end. There'll be a time and a place to look at voter irregularities, voter fraud, and what did or did not happen. There are a lot of folks in state legislatures that are concerned and are trying to still find relief in courts, whether that's state or federal. Those things need to be adjudicated there. We can't adjudicate voter fraud in an hour-long debate on the House floor. What happened yesterday is because millions of people across the country were misled by Republicans and by the administration that members of Congress could overturn and usurp the Electoral College in a single vote to object yesterday. And that's simply not true. Millions of people were led to believe that the vice president could overturn the results of the election yesterday single-handedly. And thank God Vice President Pence spoke up yesterday morning and said, no, that's not the case, and ended that rumor. But the expectations were set very high for these folks. They were lied to, and it's dishonest. And voters' hearts and minds, and worse yet, their wallets were taken advantage of, and we've seen the outcome: anarchy. We're not the party of Antifa. We're the party that protects our police. We don't attack them.
So,
and I'm going to continue to stand for freedom and the Constitution and the rule of law.
the Constitution does allow for the removal of the president with the 25th Amendment. My question to you is, there are 13 days left. If the president were to resign this morning and turn it over to Mike Pence, would you welcome that?
I don't deal in rumor. I'm going to take the facts as they hit us. I've been on this job for 100 hours. This is not an easy job. It's a hard job, and I was built for hard. And I promised my constituents every decision I made, every vote I took, every position I took would honor and support the Constitution and the rule of law.
Do you feel safe with the president in the Oval Office today?
Well, I will tell you this much. I didn't go to my hotel last night because I didn't feel like it was safe to do so. I was accosted on a street of D.C. on Tuesday evening before all of this happened. We don't know what will happen today. I hope that our leaders of our nation will encourage peace and ask people to peacefully return home so that it is safe out there, not just for a member of Congress, but for every American citizen in D.C. and across their cities, across the nation today.